Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to talk about one of the biggest international news stories involving Brazil and the United States, because the United States government recently announced new tariffs on many Brazilian products. However, not every product was included on this list. Imported exports such as coffee, beef, aircraft parts, orange juice, and some pharmaceutical products were excluded from these new tariffs. These exemptions were made because many of these products are important to American consumers or supply chains. This decision has created a lot of discussion. Some people believe that the United States is protecting his own economy. Others believe these tariffs are unfair and could damage trade between these two countries. Today, I don't want to tell what I think. Instead, I'd like to explain both sides of debate and let you decide which argument makes more sense. So, let's begin. First, what is the tariff? A tariff is a simple tax placed on imported products. If United States import a Brazilian product and apply a tariff, importing that products become more expensive. Sometimes the American importers pay the extra costs. Sometimes consumers pay higher price. Sometimes exports reduce their price to stay competitive. In reality, the impact is usually shared by several parts of the supply chain. Now let's talk about the American perspective. Why did the United States impose these tariffs? According to the US Trade Representative, the decision is a part of a long investigation into what considers unfair trade practice. The US argues that Brazil maintains policies that disadvantage American companies in areas such as digital trade, intellectual property protection, ethanol, market access, anti-corruption enforcement, and environmental enforcement related to illegal deforestation. The American government say these measures create an uneven play field for the US business. From this perspective, tariffs are not simply punishment. They are a kind of negotiation tool. The idea is to encourage Brazil to change certain policies and create that the United States consider a fair competition. Many supporters of these tariffs also believe they protect domestic industry. If important products become more expensive, American companies may become more competitive. Supported argues that the project jobs and encourage investment inside of the United States. Now let's talk about the Brazilian perspective. Brazilians often strongly disagree with the American decision. They argue that the tariffs are unjustified and politically motivated. They also point that several imported Brazilian products were exempted, suggesting that even the United States recognizes how dependent some industries and consumers are from Brazilian products. From Brazil's point of view, tariffs increase uncertainty, reduce trade, and hurt Brazilians of both sides. Brazil also agreed that international disagreement should preferably be solved through negotiation and international institutions, rather than unilateral trade barriers. Brazilian officials have signed negotiations while also considering reciprocal measures under Brazil's reciprocal law. So, who is right? Honestly, I think there isn't a simple answer. The United States has the right to defend what it believes, where its national economy is interest. Every country tries to protect strategic industries when it believes competition is unfair. At the same time, Brazil has the right to defend its exporters and questions measures that it believes are excessive or politically motivated. Both governments are trying to protect their own economies. That's clearly to see. And that's exactly why trade negotiations are often so complicated. An interesting aspect of this story that not all Brazilian products were affected. Products such as coffee, beef, aircraft components, orange juice, and some pharmaceutical products were excluded because replacing them quickly would be difficult or could disrupt American supply chains. This for me shows something important. Even during trade disputes, countries remain economically connected. Some political disagreement exists, of course, but businesses still need suppliers. Still want products. Factories still depend on international trade. Another question is whether tariffs actually works. Economists have debated from this for decades. Some believe tariffs protect local interests and create jobs. Others argue that they increase, reduce competition, and make economy less efficient. The answer often depends on the specific industry, the duration of the tariffs, and how other countries respond on it. If both countries continue increasing tariffs against each other, trade may decline. If they negotiate, many of these barriers could eventually be removed. Personally, in my point of view, these stories teach us something bigger. Global trade is much more interconnected than people realize. A political decision in Washington can affect the factories in São Paulo, for example. A policy in Brasilia can influence prices in American supermarkets. The world economy is, of course, connected. And because of that, international corporations have become increasingly important. Finally, I'd like to ask you a question. If you were responsible for a country's economy, what would you do? Would you impose tariffs to protect industries, or would you focus on keeping fo- keep markets open as possible? There isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer. Different countries make different choices based on their priorities. I'd like to hear your opinion on the comments. If you can please drop your opinion on the comment. And please always remember that discussion is 100% respectfully. And in the end, I'd like to thank you for watching one more video. And I hope I can see you in the next video. Bye.